This is a very interesting development when it comes to combat and theater sports. UFC and WWE combining together to form a fairly sizable company. I mean, $21.4 billion. That's like, what, 5 NFL teams just combined into one? But it's weird as well because the UFC being one of the most profitable professional sports, and then WWE that's on just the absolute decline. So you take the popularity of the UFC and then you just staple on a whole bunch of nothing, and I don't know, what do you just have a bunch of crossover stars, and it's like, okay, the UFC can send some of their stars over to WWE to put them on for a hot second and then have nobody cross back over. Like, what do they want, access to Brock Lesnar once again, or Bobby Lashley? Like, what's even going on over there? What's there to benefit? But obviously, no. This comes from above high, because way back, like just about not quite 10 years ago, Zuffa, the original, not the original owner, because they bought it out from some rinky-dink company beforehand, but Zuffa sold out to Endeavor a little while ago, and yeah, no, they've turned a pretty good profit, and still Dana White's at the helm. And if there's any commissioner, chairman, figurehead of any company, or actually, you know what, hey, he'd definitely be on the short list for any company, but especially when it comes to professional sports, there's nobody better out there doing it right now than Dana White. And every once in a while I like to opine on professional wrestling, and over the past weekend, Wrestlemania ended up, Wrestlemania happened, and Vince once again, and the last time that I talked about it, I said, of course Vince, he's just gonna be in the background executive role. The motherfucker was on the headsets to be it was reported multiple times over, and yeah, he's going to be staying on. So of course he's coming back until he's dead, buried, and in the ground. He's going to be a central figure. And even after this merger, they don't even know what the company's going to be called. They don't even know specifically what they're going to be doing. All they know for sure is Vince McMahon is going to be the face of WWE going forward. It's hilarious what's going on. And while I didn't watch a minute of WrestleMania, caught a couple of clips maybe on Twitter, or at least I know the results or something like that. And it's funny, one of my other early predictions, I told you guys to take this to the bank a long time ago, and you can go check one of those wrestling videos. I'm not even entirely sure, but I said Roman Reigns was going to end up holding the belt all the way until WrestleMania 40, and then they're just going to coronate Gable Steveson, okay? So anybody who thought, it's the right time for Cody Rhodes to win the belt, you're absolutely ridiculous, okay? That is Roman's on what, like a 3-year title reign or some shit like that? Like, okay, the person to pin his shoulders to the mat immediately becomes a star in WWE. You don't do that for somebody that's going to turn 38 this year. Are you out of your skull? Okay, if Roman decides to drop the belt, I'm recording this before Raw goes live tonight, so I don't know for sure or not, so you can go ahead and quote me on that. Okay, you can take a look at everything that's on the side. Like, it still has women's sports, and the only time that it's relevant was when she decided to go, you can't see me on the court. I just recorded that video, and I already forget all of the players' names. That's how irrelevant that stuff is, until some half-assed dude shows up and is like, I like to play with the girls, and everybody's stunning and brave. And the only time that you can make women's athletics look comparable to males athletics is in professional wrestling. So it's actually kind of apropos that we're still talking about this. But no, for all those soy dorks that vociferously cover the Fed, who was like, it was the time for Cody to win, he came back, and he'll never have the time going forward. He's not going to be the face of the company going into the future, because Roman's a ticking time bomb, with that fucking cancer running through his system. It's thankfully in remission right now, but at any moment, that shit could pop off. And he's also not that young of a man. And you take a look at the rest of that roster, and there is, nothing. Holy fuck, this is the entertainment in general is at its lowest point when it comes to having bankable stars. The Fed, like I've always said, is ground zero on this stuff. They haven't had a bankable face. Like, I tuned out when Cena was really popping off, because that was never my guy. It was some kind of broke-ass resuscitation of Hulkamania. It's like, oh great, Randy Orton, wonderful, fantastic, fuck off. So yeah, you can take that next year's WrestleMania prediction. You can take that one to the bank. I'm pretty certain on that, and I haven't heard anybody else say anything like that. So you can go back and take a look at this video into the future and see if I'm anything close to correct on that. But to just wrap up my other prediction, what I was saying prior to tonight's taping of Raw, whatever's going to happen there. Roman will probably drop one of those belts because he's got both of the world championship belts. Okay, he'll probably drop one of them, have some kind of a speech, you fans, and, you know, oh, we can't carry this anymore, acknowledge one of the belts and whatever the fuck else he does. I know his thing is acknowledge me. I haven't seen a fucking... the last time I seen anything from the Fed, like bell to bell, a match from there, was the WrestleMania in a warehouse, whatever that was in 2020. Since then, I haven't seen a match. I've caught a couple of AEW things, but like my interest in professional wrestling is pretty much through the floor. But it could get very interesting with this new company on top, because they're just going to have a bunch of money to throw around, okay? Like, look at the market cap, $21.4 billion. 51% of ownership is going to be beholden to Endeavor, and then 49% is going to be held by the stockholders that are going to be out there. So when it's all said and done, this is the first time in the extended WWEF, WWWF history that it isn't specifically owned by a McMahon. Still helmed by a McMahon. But this is also a very monumental move. So the new business will be led by Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel. Oh, so one of them boys. Not dem boys. Dem boys. But not dem boys. Dem other boy. If you know, you know, and if you don't worry about it. WWE and company that runs Ultimate Fighting Championship will combine to create a $21.4 billion sports entertainment company. Okay. A new publicly traded company will be formed that houses the UFC and the Fed, with Endeavor Group Holdings Incorporated taking 51% of controlling interest in the new company. Existing WWE shareholders will hold a 49% stake. So it's going to be very interesting. Like I said, there's going to be a whole hell of a lot of money at play here. So any free agents that are going to be out there in professional wrestling are going to see an increase in their pay, okay? Either AEW is going to be bidding a hell of a lot more, or there's going to be a bunch of new indie feds popping up where there's going to be money for, you know, people trying to get into the industry. So it's going to be good for the workers that are out there, 1,000%. But when it comes to creative and the Fed, well, if you thought some of the booking decisions when it came to WrestleMania were questionable, okay, like I know I heard a bunch of people think, oh my God, Cody got cheated. And I was like, whatever, who the fuck cares? Okay, he was boring, he couldn't get over in AEW, and then he just comes over, and all of a sudden, oh boy, he's Dusty Rhodes' kid. And nobody knows, actually. Nobody who repeats that dumb shit has ever watched a Dusty Rhodes match to begin with outside of the Fed, and it's like, oh, he's the guy that used to wear polka dots, you fucking morons. They think that Hard Times was a promo that Ric Flair cut, and fucking morons. But no, I think I've seen that Asuka got cheated one more fucking time. Like, she should have won a WrestleMania match all the way back at the one that they had in New Orleans. Like, for fuck's sakes, just continue to number WrestleMania. But that was a Vince McMahon decision. Like, he's an eclectic genius, but he's a fucking spurg sometimes when it comes to his decision making. Okay, he didn't want to date WrestleMania anymore because he didn't want it to seem old, because Vince is a very eclectic individual. But, you know, hey man, keeping a running tally as to what WrestleMania it is, yeah, like no other major events or championships does that. Like the Super... Oh wait, no. But yeah, we'll see if they break tradition, because yeah, 40 is going to be next year, so that's pretty significant, and it's going to be in Philly of all places. So yeah, you better make sure that your booking decisions are tight there, because that's the crowd that threw batteries at Santa Claus. The companies put their enterprise value at UFC of $12.1 billion, and the Fed value at $9.3 billion. That's interesting. How do you get that? Because you take a look at what TV rights, like that's the most obvious example. Like WWE's YouTube channel is one of the most popular on the platform. I think it's like 5th highest sub. It's ridiculous. Like they're likely to hit probably 100 million if they haven't hit it already this year. Like it's amazing how many subs they have there. When it comes to views on their well, specific videos, some of them pop off, and I guess that's the way that they kind of book their show going forward, because you take a look at the ratings, and even in the lead up to WrestleMania, Raw wasn't even cracking 2 million fucking viewers, and even SmackDown on Fox of all places was struggling to hit those numbers outside of landmark special episodes. Like, nobody's watching this shit anymore, but it's valued at $9.3 billion. Fucking why? Like, their back catalog? Like, how do you get to that number? But whatever. Like, UFC, that one makes sense, because you take a look at their pay-per-views and they just continue to trend upwards. Their shows, even, like, I don't know, to be completely honest, like, outside of John Jones, I couldn't name you any actual, champions right now, but it's still doing big numbers, selling out massive arenas, going around the world. It's still in high demand. It's just a sport that's, me personally, kind of passed me by, but that's sports in general. I ain't got time for that shit. I got other stuff to do. I got things that benefit my supporters, and watching, two other men succeed when I could be doing stuff that allows me to succeed doesn't really seem like the best way to spend my time, but that's just me. The new business, which does not yet have a name, will be led by Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel. Vince McMahon, executive chairman at WWE, will serve in the same role of the new company. No, he was just supposed to come in and usher the sale. Oh, you fucking idiot. God damn it, some of those wrestling people are fucking dim. Oh my god, all of those people with the same shitty UK accent. Oh my god, they just get fucking offended by everything. And now you're merging with one of the most based organizations that's out there. Oh, they're just gonna be fucking molding, and it's gonna be great. Might have to do more wrestling coverage going forward, especially if, Vince is gonna be down there doing the old strut down to the aisle, pal. Especially, I don't know if you've seen, this is an old ass picture, but my boy's got probably one of the worst Just for Men dye jobs and little pencil mustaches that I've seen in a long time. I mean, yo, look at that. Who's that fooling? What the like, okay, Vince is pushing 80 at this. He's still younger than Joe Biden and far sharper. Even though this is a dude who had no idea what a burrito was, but he'd been eating meat wraps for decades. That's what he honestly. It looks like he's ready to walk Yokozuna down to the ring. It's fucking scary, bro. Like, what are you doing? You're just freaking out your kids, okay? Yeah. Oh, right. Rest of the structure. Dana White will continue as president of the UFC. Yeah, the UFC, you don't fuck with the success of that company over there. UFC is just going to stay the same. Don't worry about it. Here's just going to be a little bit more money infused into that. Don't worry about it. And you can pal around with your good friend, Vince, every once in a while. And Nick Khan will be president at WWE. So literally nothing's changed so far. Not at all whatsoever. This is going to be in Vince voice. Together we will be a $21 billion live sports and entertainment powerhouse with a collective fan base of more than 1 billion people and an exciting growth opportunity. Yeah, that's right, pal. McMahon said in a prepared statement, can't do that for too long. That's going to be I'm going to have gravelly voice tomorrow if I keep doing that. Okay. He also provided some idea of where the focus of the new company will be, saying that it will look to maximize the value of combined media rights, enhance sponsorship monetization, develop new forms of content, and pursue other strategic mergers and acquisitions to further bolster their brands. The announcement arrives after McMahon, the founder and majority shareholder in WWE, returned to the company after he just finished doing billionaire shit. Rumors swirled about who could possibly be interested in buying the Fed. Yeah, very interested. Like, there was that early leak in, was that February or some shit like that? Yeah, Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund. They were the ones who were immediately going to come in and snatch it up, and it's like, that would have been so based, because, why you focus so much on the women wrestling? They don't draw any money. Endeavor, Disney, Fox, Comcast, and Amazon. That's one I didn't hear, but the rest of those kind of make sense. But yes, the Fed, an attractive acquisition. Media industry analysis viewed WWE as an attractive acquisition target given its global reach and loyal fan base. Well, not so much, again, just look at the ratings, but also given the fact that there's still a bunch of dorks that are out there that think that the streaming service or the streaming bubble hasn't burst, but I think we can kind of see that it's different. They have such a backlog of content that, even if anybody has been signed up since day one back in the old WWE Network days, they still haven't seen everything that's on there. Like, they have everybody's content, and they just keep on churning out shit day after day, week after week, month after month. Like, they're never going to run out of content. That's what makes them an attractive prospect. And still, they're always going to have that 1.5 million viewership. Like, there's only so many people that they can just drive off. Or eventually they'll just die off anyways. And then, yeah, the burgeoning social media space, whatever the fuck that ultimately means at the end of the day. So yeah, like it shows right there, the company has a social media powerhouse that surpassed 16 billion social media views in the final quarter of last year. It also has nearly 94 million YouTube subscribers. Okay, yeah, so later this year it's going to hit 100 million. Like, that totally makes sense. So it'll be what, PewDiePie, T-Series, and Mr. Beast. Yeah, so it'll be the fourth. Oh, maybe somebody else is in there as well, but it's super high up there, and has more than 20 million followers on TikTok. I want to hear Vince's booking ideas on TikTok. That shit would be funny. His female wrestlers comprise 5 out of the top 15 most followed female athletes in the world. Bruh, led by Ronda Rousey. Can you really well, I guess now that she's under the Endeavor umbrella, so okay, but you don't want to push her too terribly hard because she's ultra based. So, you know, hey man, whatever. But yeah, what did Dana White have to say about this? Because that's the only person that I actually care about. Like, Vince is hilarious and all, but he couldn't book his way out of a paper bag at this point in time. Like, yo, with all this money, he's probably finding ways and trying to think up ideas that he could buy the technology so he could revive WCW just to put it out of business again. Like, he's been fucking out of ideas for about 20 years at this point in time. Every once in a while he has a good one, but then it's undercut by about 50 bad ones. So tell me more about your golden egg. As part of the agreement, White will remain as president of UFC while Nick Khan act as the same role. White's comments reads, his company has been on fire for the last 7 years, and now that we will be adding WWE to the portfolio. Okay, yeah, 7 years was when they were bought out by Endeavor. I'm excited to take this to another level. Vince is a savage in the wrestling space. Ari is a beast at what he does, and I add what we at UFC bring to the table, and there's no limit to what this company can accomplish in the next 5 years. But yo, man, like, you can basically chalk this up to Dana White right here. Okay, yeah, so Zuffa sold a controlling share of UFC to Endeavor for $4 billion back in 2016, and now they've tripled their value over the course of 7 years. Nobody else has done that. Nobody has come close to doing that. Now you're going to staple on the corpse of the Fed on there? Oh, at least you got a bunch of content, I guess, out of it. I'm just looking forward to, okay, if you can put me down for one idea for WrestleMania next year, put me down for Vince McMahon versus Dana White, okay? Vince has been trying to make that happen since at least, oh my god, abomination that was that Atlanta WrestleMania 27 or some shit like that. He's been trying to make that happen forever. That's going to happen. Battle for Endeavor, pal. Ha! But anyways, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.